Hi everyone, my name is April and my theory is mind lock, how social media increases our knowledge gap and knowledge bias. So communication on social media platforms broadens our eyes by providing a huge amount of new information, more than ever. However, it locks our mind and limits our boundary through keeping us within our own informational bubble. Social media breaks the unidirectional communication format, regulations, and environment. Meanwhile, it established a new platform where original and reproduced ideas and thoughts are brought up, shared, and exchanged easily, conveniently, and freely. Previously, when it comes to mass communication, only people are opinion leaders who work in media or marketing industry, who work for government and other authorities play an influential role in the process of communication. With the invention of all these diverse social media platforms, everyone could get access to social media and express their thoughts as long as she or he could have a digital device. However, one of the biggest advantage of social media platforms, which is provides people with more and more customized and personalized information, generated a very negative effect on another dimension. People are more concentrated on their own information bubble and being limited within their online communication community, which was built up by the social function. So, social media is a new media which provides people with an increasing customized and personalized information. However, it locks our mind and limits our boundary through keeping us within our informational bubble. The total amount of accessible information and knowledge increase rapidly. However, the diversity and delivered information is decreasing. Knowledge gap and knowledge bias increase. I'm very interested in the area of social media communication, not only because I work in this industry, but also because social media plays such an important and essential role. First of all, social media penetrates into every perspective of our life. It is more of a tool that meets our social need than a communicative method that you could choose. Thanks to the technologies that offer us the chance to get in touch with friends, news, and the world anytime and anywhere. Social media is a channel to establish new connections, get and pass along information, and an important way to build up image. However, I have the doubt here that if it is social media creates our need or it helps us satisfy our needs. Another thing is social media is the most popular platform to build up image, from personal use to brand marketing to the government building up their identities. Thirdly, functions of social media differ a lot from previous media. However, the direction and trend of changing have a lot of similarities. I'm always thinking about what is new, what is old, what can we learn from the old, study the current, and predict the future. Now, let's look at the diagram. Among social media platforms today, people express and share opinions within first their online community, which generated from real-life friend circle, networks, neighborhood communities. Second, within the topics, themes, attitudes, which they have similar values. Similar opinion could also affect online community. Both online community and similar opinions lead to mind lock. Mind lock strengthens knowledge gap and knowledge bias, which we thought that was originally decreased by social media. Digital gap will affect the knowledge gap since it determines the access to social media, which affects a big partial connection to information today. Social media provides more freedom, which mass communication, mass media, traditional media with hierarchy decreases. However, based on the silent spiral theory, it still leads to the similar opinions. There are many variables in my diagrams, and most of them are connected with the theories we learned through this semester, or the theories are very important in communication history. For example, Benedict Anderson described his imagined communities concept, arguing that a nation is a community socially constructed and imaged by people who perceive themselves as part of the group. Nowadays, social media platforms provide a strong and invisible way of building up identities. For example, the White House actively uses Snapchat to live stream their new policies, highlights their improvements and proportionals on STEM major in education. Meanwhile, Chinese government official news resource Xinhua Agency continuously updates their Twitter and Facebook accounts, even though Twitter and Facebook are both forbidden in mainland. Governments from East and West have totally different strategies in developing their countries, building up their image. However, they all use social media today to create, develop, and maintain their identities. The spiral and silence theory is another important theory that I use in my diagram. Silent spiral is a political science and mass communication theory, which proposed by German scientist Elizabeth, who argues that individuals have a fear of isolation, which results from the idea that the social group or the society in general may isolate, neglect, or exclude members due to the members' opinions. This fear of isolation consequently leads to the remaining silence instead of voicing their opinions. As we all know that in mass communication, people are fear of showing their different opinions, which leads to the similar opinions all the time, and it works in social media as well. While looking at my diagram, there are 3 loops that are very interesting to have a look. The first one is people with similar opinions prefer to stay within the same online community. This will lead to the mind lock. Because of the mind lock, people will accumulate more similar opinions, which is gonna be a circle. The second loop is people with similar opinions gonna prefer to stay in the same online community, which contributes to the similar opinions on social media. This social media content will generate the similar opinions as well, since different opinions gonna be silenced based on the silence spiral theory. The third loop is mind lock increases knowledge gap. Because of the increasing of knowledge gap and knowledge bias, the opinions and values on social media are gonna be biased and limited, which strengthens the mind lock. I would say that there are many challenges when developing my theory. For example, how to define mind lock. Mind lock is a term that I bring up, and I need to set up a standard and a system to define it from the beginning. This is hard since I have to define a brand new term, and I have to check all the theories which connected to make sure my theory valid. Another difficulty is gonna be the selection of variables. So mind lock is a phrase that I given definitions to, and there are so many variables connected. So it is really difficult to choose which variables I wanna use, and among other variables, they are engaged with each other. Sometimes it's difficult to decide the direction because of the difficulty of defining all the variables, the relationship among the variables, and the loop, how the loop works, are not easy to identify as well. Talking about the future applications of my theory, I think my theory could provide a standard or a rationale to study future communication. I'm always thinking about what is old and what is new. What can we learn from the old and predict or study the new? As we all know that the functions of communication are changing all the time. However, the trend of changing shares a lot of similarities. Under the help of technologies, communication are less and less controlled by time and space. The public have more freedom and power to get access and express their opinions. Individual business and government build up their image or identity on the newest channels. So the total amount of accessible information knowledge increase. We thought is rapidly increasing. However, the diversity and delivered information is decreasing. So, I think my diagram add another dimension or standard of qualifying a new communication method. Quantity is not the only rationale. Diversity and efficiency are also very important. At the same time, I think my theory strengthens silent spiral theory. So in my diagram, we can see that even though people have much more freedom and availabilities to get access to information and express their opinions, in the end, similar values, ideas are generated, which leads to the mind lock. In the end, I want to say that since my topic is about social media, knowledge gap, online community, etc., so it may not be able to answer, but would definitely helping adding another dimension to questions within social media studies. Questions such as how social media increase information bias, how social media help increasing awareness of political deliberation, how to improve our social media literacy, especially the ability to evaluate conversations critically within the realm of societally based technologies.